We are the Braxtons, and you'll see that we are not like an ordinary family. Tony, Tracy, Tawanda, Trina, Tamar, and Miss Eve will teach you a thing or two on Braxton family values.
Hello, Home Slices. It's Kiera with Home Slice Adulting coming to you with my review for Braxton Family Values, Season 6, Episode 18, titled Tamar's Mystery Man. Thank you for clicking on this video. Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with someone who you think will enjoy it. Now, I'm going to do something a little different today. Typically, when I do any type of review, I sit down with my computer in front of my TV with my remote, ready to pause and take notes, fast forward through the commercials, and take more notes and all that jazz. But for me, because taking notes can be like so paralyzing for me, because I want to get all of my thoughts out and make sure that I express them in my videos, I figured that I would try something different this time and actually watch a portion of the show, review that portion while it's still fresh in my mind, and then, continue doing that until I am done with the show. You all see my dog, Bo. Hi, Bo. He's a very in-your-face type of dog. Hey. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and start this review. We start out seeing all of the ladies at the table except for Toni Braxton. They call Toni and find out that Toni apparently travels with a trunk of very expensive jewelry that she left on a plane and now is not really sure about its whereabouts. According to the people who are working at the airport, the trunk has been shipped to where all the lost luggage goes in Alabama, apparently. And she really won't know what's in the trunk, if anything was stolen or anything, until she receives the trunk back. So she was concerned about that. And I was wondering, as a big sister, as the oldest sister of my siblings, if that would prevent me from supporting my sister in that moment. Now, Toni Braxton does not, I'm going to assume, as the superstar that she is, does not handle her own affair. Maybe, I don't know. Toni definitely has an assistant. She definitely had a team of people with her that day. But because maybe the jewelry was very valuable, because her engagement ring was there, even if she were at the place, she just wouldn't have been present because she would have been worrying about her belongings. And again, I don't know that I would have that same mindset, but I also don't have millions of dollars worth of jewelry in one space. So I don't know. You all tell me what you think. Would you allow the situation that Toni was in to stop you from being there to support your little sister? I don't know. Yeah, I definitely don't know. So anyways, they're sitting down at the table and things are very awkward. Tamar in her confessional seems very proud of herself for inviting her mom and her sisters, whom she hadn't really talked to since the Iyanla thing, to come. And it's like, Tamar, you did the bare minimum. You can't really pat yourself on the back for inviting them because you invited Tawanda and Tawanda invited everybody else. So yeah, she really did the bare minimum. But at the end of the day, I do think it's great that they were there to support her. Things were awkward at first, and then Tawanda brought up the fact that Logan curses, and it kind of lightened the mood. And humor and drinks, like Tracy said, can do that for your family. So it seems like they are on their way to putting back together their sisterly bond. Tamar mentions wanting to go to Africa, and Trina made the low-hanging fruit joke that Tamar is the only person who has Nigerian in them at this moment. So I thought that was funny. But I love Trina. Anyways, we move on. We find out that Tamar has a condo directly adjacent to hers that's just full of her clothes. And Toni is in there and she's like, apparently Tony has never been in there before, and it's just a big condo just full of clothes and accessories. And while they're in there, they're discussing Trina and whether or not Trina is married because she calls somebody her stepson on Instagram. Now, it's not inconceivable that someone calls somebody something before it is actually true. So my mom calls people brother-in-law, maybe even before they're actually married to her sister. Or, you see what I'm saying? Some people say, oh, this is hubby, and they're not actually married, or, things like that. So it's not inconceivable that she would call someone her stepson before she's actually married to their dad. Because we know how Black people are. We just make people our family. We call people our cousins that ain't our cousins, that's not related by blood at all. God, brother, play sister, all this stuff that we're not related. Anyways, it makes Tamar suspicious, and it's also Trina's birthday, so they decide to throw something for her to try to get the information out of her. So I will be back to review the next portion of Braxton Family Values. Okay, folks, I am back. So this time we saw Tawanda, Mama Evelyn, and Trina sit down for lunch. Tawanda is a person who accepts and receives secrets from her sisters but does not give them back. I do not like that. That irks me so much. Tawanda very apparently has a ring on the marriage finger. That's a big chunk of amethyst or whatever it is. It is a pretty ring. If it is an engagement ring, it's very non-conventional, but she will not reveal the purpose of the ring. She just said that he bought it from Tiffany's and that she likes it. And it's like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, I am so annoyed. I'm not even Tawanda's sister, and I am annoyed by that. But moving on, apparently she's getting serious with her significant other and doesn't want to tell anybody. Now, quiet as kept. I heard this is the same thing that she did when she married that other dude that wasn't worth nothing. So maybe you want to do things differently this time, Tawanda. Moving on, we also talk about Trina. Apparently, Trina and Vaughn are getting very serious. They are digging into their relationship graveyards, apparently. And Trina met Vaughn's ex-wife, and Vaughn wants to meet Gabe, Trina's ex-husband. And do I think that is necessary? No, but I do think that it is a kind of measure of good faith. So I get it, but to me, it's not a necessary step. And then they talk about setting up Mama Evelyn on a date, which is always a fun time. They showed a flashback of her speed dating that really, really young guy. And when I tell y'all money changes things, they have all kind of elevated their outer appearances since the beginning of the show. Moving on, we have all these T names can be so confusing. Tamar, Tawanda, and Trina get together to do some wine mixing and wine tasting and all that jazz. And Tamar says she wants to figure out if Trina is married or not. That actually never came up. What came up was that apparently Tamar and her boo were leaving a restaurant or leaving wherever, and they ran into Vince. And Vince actually met Tamar's new boo. And according to Logan, Vince has a new wife. So that reassures Trina that Vaughn can meet Gabe and nothing will go wrong. So I'll be back with more later on. Okay, so we're back for more. We see Trina sit down with Vaughn and talk about how nervous she is to meet his mother. And, I feel like she should be based on how their interaction went, but we'll get to that a little bit later. She's going to be meeting Vaughn's mom and aunt, and Vaughn seems nice. Something about him, he just looks like the sixth Jackson to me. Like, he would fit in well aesthetically into the Jackson family, like Jermaine, and he just looks like a Jackson. Like, now we can't say goodbye. Like, am I the only person who sees that? He looks like he could be in Michael Jackson's family. Just, just from looking at him. But anyway, he seems nice. There's a few things about him that I didn't really care for. We all know how silly Trina is, and when Trina came up with her, word nervousing, he was like, oh, that's not a word, that's not a word, that's not a word. And it's like, I didn't care for that, but that doesn't mean that he's not a nice person. Maybe he just doesn't like when people make up words. I don't know. Moving on, we see Tamar has a date. I find it hard to care about this. And Tony is being awarded as a lady. I don't get it. A lady of the Royal High Order of Constantine Mary Christ the King. So again, she still hasn't really explained what this means. I don't get it. I understand why she's being honored, but I always feel a certain way about these big award ceremonies that cost a lot of money to put on, where you are rewarding someone for their philanthropic efforts. The problem I have with it is that the money that you spend on these award ceremonies and flying people out and paying for their hotels and paying for the venue and paying for all of the people who work at the venue and paying for the food and paying for the drinks, because there are drinks, paying for all that stuff, how much money do you spend on that can actually be put toward lupus or autism research or whatever? I have a problem with people spending a lot of money to honor people who do philanthropic things instead of donating that money to those actual philanthropic things, right? Am I the only person who feels that way? Anyways, moving on, we see Trina being extra nervous about meeting Lonnie, Von's mom, and Sylvia, Von's aunt. They come off to me as similar to Candy's mom and sisters. They I don't know, they come off as very like, oh, you've been married twice. And you want to do it again? They come off a little judgy, but to be fair, this is their first time meeting Trina, even though Von and Trina have been dating for almost a year now. So whatever frustration they feel with Von is going to kind of be taken out on Trina, which is not fair. So she maybe should have met them a little bit earlier when he knew things were going to be very serious. But that's all I have for now. I will be back with more. Okay, I am back, and really quickly, Tony's sons are so handsome. They're growing up. I don't know how old they are now, but they, I think the oldest one may be like 16, not really sure. But they are so handsome and, getting older and growing into themselves. We see that that Trina is still with Von's aunt and sister, and they call him out to go fix them plates or whatever so they can talk to Trina one-on-one. And Trina says husband, and Sylvia and Lonnie think that's really funny. And that kind of lightens the mood, and they eventually give their blessing. So I think that's great. I think it's odd that they would give their blessing after one encounter, but we only got to see a snippet of what happened, so hopefully they get to spend more time together. Moving on, we see Tony being knighted as a lady, and she has this Cinderella ball gown that's off the shoulder. I didn't really care for it, but it's mostly because that's not Toni Braxton's personality. We know that she does the sexy revealing dresses, and seeing her in something that was so conservative was to me just really didn't match. So anyways, she got knighted, and now she's a lady, and congratulations. I'll see y'all again for the next installment. All right, y'all, so we are about to wrap things up here. The last thing we see is Tamar's date. When I tell y'all that I spent this entire few minutes of watching their date saying ill and yuck, oh, I just, for whatever reason, I don't know. Okay, so Tamar's boo right now, his name is David. She calls him Lagos because he's from Lagos, Nigeria. And I was uncomfortable with the level of innuendo and sexual tension at the table. And I felt so bad for the server because they were making inside jokes and he's like, a bone-in Lego. I'm unfamiliar with what that means. They were making the server uncomfortable, making sexual jokes. Finally, they decide on what to eat, and then at the end of the day, they end up leaving early so they can go home and have some bone-in Lego. Okay, and I just couldn't. Whenever Tamar did her sexual talk with Vince, I never liked it, and now even with David, I really don't care for it. I don't get it. I don't know why it made me uncomfortable. I don't know if it's because it's Tamar or because if it's anybody, it would make me feel uncomfortable. I just don't know. But anyways, at the end, he tells her that he loves her, and I don't hear her say it back. I wonder if she loves him back. She told us that he is in finance and technology, and like I said in my last video, Tamar don't have no type. Rich Negroes is the only thing that she like. Maybe she's into dark skin. That might be one of the common threads. Dark skin and rich. That's Tamar's type. Again, because Tamar's marriage to Vince is not officially over, I think it's a bad idea to jump in and to dive into something so soon, personally. Again, I don't know where Tamar's heart is, and I kind of don't want to know. It could be very possible that she is truly going after what she wants in her, in relationship wise, but I do not think it's wise to jump into a relationship so soon after you are jumping out of another one, before you even are out of the other one, to be this enthralled with somebody. And I think Tamar likes to be spoiled. She likes to be loved, and her love language is coming off to me as like gifts and monetary. That's the way that she likes to receive love, is people spending money on her. Not calling her a gold digger or anything, because there's nothing wrong with knowing what you want in the way of financial security. I think that Tamar is actually really into David, and not that she's using him for his money or anything, but anyways, the point I'm trying to make is ill. Okay, they left the restaurant early and I'm like, I was uncomfortable. Were you uncomfortable? I don't know. Anyways, next time on Braxton Family Values, for those of you who don't know, Gabe died from cancer a couple of months ago, which apparently coincides with the taping of this, and Trina apparently found out while they were taping that Gabe had passed away. So we're gonna dive into that next time. Thank you all for watching. I'm gonna splice all these videos together and see if it made my recording time any shorter, because not having to take notes made this a much easier process than taking notes, pausing, fast forwarding, taking more notes, pausing, fast forwarding, sitting down and doing the video all in one sitting. So thank you all for watching. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with someone who you think will like it. Stay tuned later today or tomorrow for my review on today's episode of Family or Fiance. Peace out, home slices.